back to the Dark Matters podcast. Today we have Robin Hood from the realm of England, and we are diving into something historic. Robin Hood is bringing a true common law jury of 12 in accordance with the Juries Act to try a matter for the people by the people, a jury of peers in the truest sense, those who actually know the man on trial. This is a constitutional takedown of the entire fraudulent system. This isn't legal theatre, this is lawful remedy, because the so-called courts today, they're not courts, they're corporate administrative forums. Your judge is a banker, your courtroom is a bank, and every case is commerce, a contract, a fraud, and a fiction. So jurisdiction has become jurisdiction, a spellcasting words assuming your consent, but we're pulling it back. This case will indict the first judge in the realm of England on behalf of the people for operating under foreign powers, for acting as an agent of genocide, and for trespassing against the living man. This is how we reclaim our courts, from corporate courts to constitutional law, from bar rules and black robes to lawful courts of record in perpetuity ad infinitum. If you've ever wondered how to break the jurisdictional spell, this is the episode. Tune in, learn the law, remember your power, and let the realm rise. Robin, over to you. An update.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. What a wonderful instance that was. Yeah, it's about time that we pull together now and we go in one direction. Most people think that courts are courts of record, and when the judge says, and you ask the judge, is this a court of record, he lies, because he's allowed to, right, in their court. Because he does not see you, he does not hear you, you are a dead fictional entity. A corporate entity that is classed now as a quasi, spelled Q-U-A-S-A-I, or a persona, P-E-R-S-O-N-A-M, right? Identity, both vessels upon the sea. There is no sea. Okay? We're all registered to offshore private ports in commerce. Every one of us. Okay? It's fraud by illegal conversion. It's treason as to the Treason Act. This is a foreign state, domestic state entity that has converted us. All solicitors are not solicitors. They're not under law. They're under their SRA registration. The SRA is registered to the inner city of London and is a member of the Lincoln's Inn. Therefore, by association, so is every solicitor. When you walk into a solicitor's office, they illegally convert you into either a quasim or legal fiction. Personam, right? You are what's called an ENS, E-N-S hyphen legis, L-E-G-I-S, commercial entity. Okay, a personam, a mirror image of the real thing. As to Archibald 2025, the state only issues documentation in personam. That's your all caps legal fiction. It's there in the law books. Right? When you get issued a summons, you take a photocopy and you return it to the court and say, thank you very much for your evidence. We are now going to issue a £5 million demand invoice binding the judge who was going to sit on this case. And the fake officer has brought this claim. Because you're not public, therefore you've just caused public outrage, section 26A. This is why the government wants to get rid of it. Because not one officer is in public office. It's all fraud. So under the Juries Act, because they're trying to get rid of the juries now and put you under a single justice procedure, which is an administrative admiralty doctoring procedure, it's not law, it's the colour of law, has no authority over you, the man, but it can take control of your vessel because it deals with nothing more than admiralty, maritime jurisdiction. And because they've used the and tied it into the subordinate document, Act of 1707, Cester v. Trust, and it states in there in 11.18.19 Char 2 in the document, it states there that if a man presents himself at court, he will not be seen, not heard. The judge will direct the jury to assess him as lost at sea or presumed dead. That's what it states, for fact. Now, you've got to try and unravel that, and that is your illegal conversion into a personam or quasi of the state create fiction that has been conducted by the state by the murder and theft of your twin, the placenta. And I know this sounds far-fetched and absolutely ridiculous, but you have to explain to me why the 1666 Trust Act and the 1707 Trust Act is still in force after the plague and after the Great Fire of London. It's for the state to take control, not the nation, the state, the corporate state, to take control of dead men's assets. Yeah, so this is what you've got to understand. They're now treating you as dead. They cannot hear you. They cannot see you. They will not look at your evidence, and they will describe you as dead. Now, when they go to you and say, oh, prove you're you, and you all grab for your wallets, and you grab for your birth certificates, and you grab for your driving licenses, and you grab for your passports, all the illegal conversion documents of the state, to prove that you are the legal fiction, the quasim. Therefore, you are guilty. What you do is you prick your finger. You issue the bent bastard a document under the seal of the dragon, the blood of the nation, the dragon of England. The Union Jack is fake. It's the corporate flag of nonsense. It is the dragon land of sovereign people, where sovereignty dwells, where common law, and it's not just common law, so don't just use common law, it's natural common law. The law of the land, the divine law, the law of God is above all acts and statutes. All acts and statutes in 1706 are void. All of them, every single one, for fraudulent conversion. It does not happen. Anybody sends you anything, send them an estoppel, a permanent estoppel, and a stop document, all to be found on the realm of England. Right? You issue then an immediately binding invoice again to be found on the realm of England's website. £2 million, £5 million against the judge's bond and trust for treason by illegal conversion, usurping the sovereignty of the man. It's there in the SRA handbook. It's there on page 420, 430, 1552, and several other pages within Archibald 2025. What they've done is they've basically converted the law books of England, your Halsburys, your Blackstones, your Stokes, into Archibald. Disobedience of statutes. They're trying to remove the meaning. Common law maxims, natural common law maxims. They're trying to convert. They don't exist. They don't exist while you're a quasi or a personam, but they exist if you exert who you are and what you are by de jure, by right in law, true law. If you get a corporation that sends you a summons, send it back with an estoppel. You are now addressing the illegal conversion. This belongs to the state. All your fines, nonsense, is now by illegal conversion. Here's the evidence, Mr., Mrs. administrative language, all caps surname, mixed lettering, all lowercase documents. Ask them to return it to whichever department they need to speak to. So is that the sui juris, just naturel, just in rem, or is it the quasi identity, or is it the personam identity? And confirm that you are not the PSC of the corporation that has been registered illegally, as you are not the person of significant control. You are not the quasi, you are not the persona, and you are not the one that's registered the corporation in the same name or similar name to the Isle of Man or other port offshore nonsense. This is illegal conversion. It's in breach of the 2023 and 2024 official statement from the Crown Office and Chief Registrar. Right? So if they do that to you, right? If they dare do that to you, this is what you send them back. And get the quote. Right? Get the quote. And it tells you, look up SRA documents. The handbook, for God's sake. Right? Bargill Handbook 2023, page 33. Barristers and officers of the court must uphold the administration of justice, be honest in integrity, and maintain public confidence in the legal system. Well, how can they do that when they're in court without the imperial crown seal, without the office of the sovereign man? This is Parliament has removed it by illegal conversion and claiming that they have sovereignty. They don't have sovereignty. He who claims must prove they've legislated themselves something which is corporate sovereignty. Completely different thing, and is not valid because the corporate fiction, Parliament, franchise corporation, is nothing more than a fictional entity. And it's only by the colour of law do they get away with what they're getting away with. Because we don't know. We're ignorant of the law. Solicitors Handbook 2018, page 1 to 5. Solicitors must obey the highest standard of integrity and uphold the rule of law, not administrative admiralty, doctrine that's not law. Right, so every solicitor has to illegally convert you into a personam or quasi without your knowledge. No contract, without knowingly, willfully, intelligently understanding who you're doing a deal with. It is a deal with the devil that you will lose at every stage. Solicitors must act with independence, integrity, and in the best interests of the client while avoiding conflict and conduct likely to diminish public trust. Well, turning you into a quasim, personam without your knowledge and removing all of your constitutional safeguards and protections, I think that stands as a crime.
And I suppose having gone through university and got my LLB honours, etc., I never went on to do the legal practice course, which is what, you have to take to become a practicing solicitor. The lower rungs of those ladders, I don't think they know what they're doing, or would you disagree? I think we've met solicitors, haven't we, of course? I've met a few along the way, and they didn't know. Even barristers, no idea.
But this is the point. It's a breach of, but this is a breach of maxims. Again, a man that does an everyday job that does not know his job is in breach of maxim of law, because then he can't be paid.
Well, and they should have a higher duty of care. It's like any kind of professional. They're supposed to have a higher duty.
This is what they've done. They've reduced their duty of care into the Nolan principle from a fiduciary responsibility, which is as you know, is a trust responsibility. So now they're all under fiduciary they're all under Nolan principle law, or even something else now. It's ridiculous, right? And they're under, and should be under, fiduciary duty, because they have a trust to the people to ensure independence. Well, they can't be independent because now they're a member of the inner city, which is a foreign state. Now that's a breach of the Treason Act 1351 and 1391. They've tried to void it. Well, you can't void it. It's not Parliament's to void, prats. Right? You can't put it into the Theft Act, which is a treasonable offence, and it's equivalent to high treason, right? Into a Theft Act 1967 and 1969, before they entered the illegal conversion of the EEC. I don't think so. Parliament that is a franchise of the corporation. Liars, liars, your bum's on fire.
And can we talk about what's happening this week in relation to the indictment of judges?
Yeah. Yeah, of course I can. What I'm going to do is I've now requested that 12 to 30 people turn up at Grimsby Magistrates Court, and we welcome everybody. Now, what we've done is we've put in estoppels, we've put in indictments, and we've also put in a pre-action protocol against the court, against the judges, and against the staff for illegal conversion. I myself will be going down before then, and I will take in the first indictment for illegal conversion and treason against the court, the judges, and the council, because it breaches natural law, maxims in law. A court as to Black's Law 4 to 6, and then it goes on. Giving a plaintiff, a fictional plaintiff, more credit than in law proper. Basically, that means that it's fraud. Then you've got fiction is fiction is fiction. Fraud is fraud is fraud. Am I in AB infinitum, right? Which basically means fraud is fraud forever. Fiction is fiction forever. A fictitious plaintiff cannot make a claim against a flesh and blood woman or man. Therefore, by putting you as an all caps fiction vessel, corporation entity that they claim that you are now the PSC of, person of significant control, and all your assets belong to that corporation by fraud, coercion, and treason. This is levelling war under the Treason Act 1351. This is levelling war at the imperial crown or the sovereignty of the people. It's also usurpation of constitutional duty. And it states in the maxim, a man that stands under the unconstitutional act must face the perils and the consequences. Oh, so dear, these are long forgotten, deliberately misrepresented maxims of law, of true law.
Yeah.
Right? And here you've got it. Now, this is the Crown Office and Chief Registrar's guidance. These are out the minutes of their meeting that were publicly published. Solicitors acting as officers of the court must not serve a franchise or foreign corporate entity to void sovereign accountability. But according to Parliament, and the courts, there is no sovereignty anymore. This is 2023, 2024, last year, year before, from the two biggest officers in their corporation. Accountability nor facilitate conversion of the sovereign person into a corporate fiction. Official integral guidance. 2023, June. Annexes of the REL, RFL, RSL, all regularity of the SRA. These documents affirm The solicitor's duty is to uphold lawful transparency, honesty, accountability. The judge is put under a much bigger form, right? And as you go, all fiction vitiates which it affects, page 425, Archibald. Fiction is not truth, it is a lie with colour of law, page 430. Right?
And colour in legalese means counterfeit. Yeah, it's fake.
Yes. It's a fake court. It's a fictional court. They've got you there to literally get you to administer reckless, misleading documents, which is uttering high treason common law offence without lawful authority, as the judge sat in that court is now guilty of treason by offering aid to a foreign state or domestic state corporation by illegal conversion, by the use of the statutory system, of the fiat system, which is now the statutory system.
And I think in simple terms, isn't it? If this all sounds like gobbledygook to a lot of people, it just means all this stuff that they're trying to put through Parliament, these bills, and a bill is what you get when you have a meal, it's a charge on you. That's what it's about in commerce. All this nonsense, all this, this treason and trauma and tyranny. We just need the numbers, don't we? And boots on the ground, and boots on the ground we will be this week. And like Robin said, this will be the first indictment of a judge, in the name of treason against the nation. It
won't be just one judge, it's several judges. Any judge that has touched this fraudulent case is now liable for £5 million. Any court official is now liable for £2 million. Any fraudulent CPS officer, because have a guess what, Carly? Have a guess what? That it's going to shock your viewers to the core.
My mind's boggling.
The CPS is insolvent.
Oh, right, yes, of course, yeah. The bankrupt.
1st of August 2024. It's now the CPS has no Crown authority, as all Crown agents were repealed in 1997 and moved to the Companies Act 1985, now running from 2006 Companies Act, by illegal conversion, and are nothing more than an administrative office.
Yeah.
They cannot bring a claim against a man. They're bringing it against your corporate fiction and are insolvent.
And that's it. It's about kind of putting the pieces together, which you do extremely well, obviously, and
thank you for that.
Seeing the shit butty, isn't it? That there it is. The devil truly is in the detail. It's and in a way, people don't have to fully understand the detail, but we need the numbers to be, just that awareness of that fiction and enjoying the realm.
Well, it stops if we can literally dissolve Parliament in 5 minutes, and that is it. That is it. It is know thyself to no longer be defrauded, to do yourself. It's as simple as that. And the problem that we've had now is our schooling is so poor.
Yeah.
The education system is completely flawed. It is indoctrination. And I don't just say that lightly, right? It is literally to turn out corporate drones to make you to go to work 8 while 5, have Saturday, Sunday off, or work Saturday because you can't afford not to, and then return back to work on the Monday. They want you educated enough to complete their payments. That's it. The biggest thing that the people out there have got to understand, we don't pay taxes. Flesh and blood do not pay taxes.
Yeah.
So stop it. It's easily done. You are not a state fiction. You're not a vessel. You're not a corporate vessel for them to deal with.
Yeah. And Like, so we will, well, we'll be leading the charge with it here, won't we? So stay tuned.
Well, we are. I mean, look, I spent 4.5 hours, nearly 5 hours the other day, Friday, right? Literally phoning. I spoke to 4 different people, 6 different departments to try and find this case. Nope. They've turned a single justice procedure, which is an administrative admiralty jurisdiction. It has no lawful authority, right? I've gone onto the black stamp. They either pay £500 for it, or each document that they use and they get it from the High Court, right, costs between £40 to £60.
Yeah.
In fraud, right? You then invoke the four corner rule. Now I'm going to let you explain the 4 corner rule, because you are an LLB.
Indeed, for my sins. So the 4 corner rule is anything that is, well, a lawful document is a single skin document. It shouldn't have any boxes on it. So it should be within the 4 corners of that page. So what we tend to get in legal, you'll know from any kind of statement or legal document, everything's in boxes. So it means it's not on the page. It means it's not there. So
therefore we return the box. We now put an estoppel on it. You put an estop on it, and you now invoke the 4 corner rule. So the summons has nothing written upon it.
Exactly.
So therefore, who are you trying to contact with?
Yeah.
Now people think I'm fucking. Yeah. Well, people think I'm nuts, but it's not. It's there. You go. That's how you do it.
Yeah. I mean, there was a video going around and it was on ChatGPT. Lisa sent it me actually, and I mean, even AI is telling you exactly how they do it. You know, it's like, I mean, we're not crazy. This is a fact.
Well, it's a sad fact, and it's a sad fact of that we are now in the world of illegal fiction. England stands as a nation; it always has done. But what you now believe is the nation, they've called a state.
Mm-hmm.
It's a corporate state. Parliament is a member, a franchise department of that corporate state only. Doesn't work for me and you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Here's some maxims that I'd like for everybody to sort of get used to. Right? Now, these are God's law. Now, nobody can beat God's law. Nobody. Now, you as an LLB should know this, yes?
Mm-hmm. Maxims,
right.
Yeah.
Yep. An unjust law is not law. Law or statutes applied unjustly contravene to natural law hold no legitimate force or obligation. So every time you get arrested now by a police force member, remember that one, and demand that he surrenders his oath, bond, and affirmation as proof of illegal conversion. Yeah. Demand it from the custody sergeant. Advise them that you will be issuing £2 million invoices upon their own assets.
Yeah.
Fraud vitiates everything. This maxim establishes that instruments connected or proceeding derived from a tainted by fraud is void and of no effect. That means that when a police officer claiming to be a police constable in fraud is now in breach of the law, he cannot arrest you. He has no authority to arrest you, only by the PACE Act 2025, which is already void, 2015, which is void in law because it's a fraudulent document, right? Yeah. Now I'm going to try my Latin here, it's going to get thing. And the one for that is just naturel est lex amber some other, and it basically means God's law is above all, the natural man is above all, and no act or statute can be forced against him. None. Therefore, the PACE Act is void. They are now all fiction. The police officers, police force, That's what you've got to understand. It's that word force. They are there to enforce acts and statutes against the man, not the personam. Illegal conversion. We now take the police officers' houses. We now take their necks. Because it's treason. It's levelling war against the imperial crown. They no longer have the imperial crown authority of the people, the governed. This is a deliberate commercial attempt to remove our sovereignty to British slavery, to become a British citizen. I'm not British.
No, me neither.
Right? Again, consent makes law. No court or legal instrument that binds a sovereign man without genuine voluntary consent. Without such consent, all perpetuity authority is null. Have the police force got consent? No.
And last time I checked, Cressida Dick, the famous video, said we police by consent, or was it Theresa May? One of the two, I think. But I've got it somewhere.
No, both of them, to be fair. It's both of them.
It could have been both of most likely.
Right, it's both of them.
Exactly.
They are supposed to police by consent. Now, they don't police by consent. They police by illegal conversion under acts and statutes. That's why they turn up to repossess your house and assist corporate bailiffs and get paid a bonus for turning up.
I know, just that, just in the fact that they work to targets now, and as we know, in the Englishman, the castle doctrine, an Englishman's home is his castle. So if someone's using force in a civil matter against you, that is an act of terrorism.
Oh, excuse me, yeah. It's basically, you're allowed to kill them. It states it in the Constitution.
It does, yeah. Now,
and
just
by illegal conversion,
that's doing anything. That's not.
That's not a recommendation, guys. It's just it is illegal.
Entertainment purposes only. Yeah.
But if you look it up, any police officer now upon our streets, it's illegal. They are nothing more than ships looking for prizes or bounty, which is me and ye. It's me and thee, and that's repugnant to the law. So every police officer now is guilty of high treason, aiding and abetting, giving aid under the Treason Act 1351, death. Simple as that. They look at us ridiculous, as if it's too old. We don't listen to that. Well, unfortunately, Archibald 2025 does.
Yeah.
Right? It's all in there.
And I think this is the thing, isn't it? And again, this is why, we're all heading down to the court this week, because this is what needs to happen. Like I said, boots on the ground. I mean, the power of the jury, which is why they're trying to get rid of the juries, because actually there's a trick there, isn't there? We know that we're in administrative jurisdiction in their nonsense, in their bar court nonsense. Well, really, under a court of law, a court of record for the living man and woman, you're entitled to a trial by jury. Now, even if you think you're having a trial by jury, the bar, it's a trick. They give you a jury trial. Well, the jury is important, like we've said before, with a jury of your peers, and that means people who know you, which is why we can bring in our own jury. And we don't have to just say guilty or not guilty. The jury has the power of nullification. It's called jury nullification, which means any unjust act or nonsense and crap that they've come up with, we can get rid of, which is why they want to try and get rid of the juries. I mean, they've just, I think was it in Argentina? Don't quote me. It was somewhere like that. But they've just brought in the first AI minister. They're literally trying that access, I shouldn't say personal access, that access to actual courts of law, of course, of which we don't have any. I mean, that's the next layer of it. That's where they want to go, into that digital metaverse nonsense. This is why this is so important. And if you're watching this, share this video, because this is it. This is the way out, as well as economics without Toshi, etc. Learn that. That's it. Legal and banking. The devil's dogma.
It's basically, we cannot surrender our sovereignty, and they cannot take it, right? Yeah. And this is what it is. And this is literally the treason and high treason, engaging acts constitutionally in levelling war against the imperial crown and sovereignty of the governed under the Treason Act 1351. And common law via fraudulent assumptions of judicial and administrative power and subversion. Now, that's the law. It's not us. Right? Now, there is not one judge in England that's not been incorporated. Not one. They're all there for profit and gain. Now, that breaches no judge can stand in his own cause. They're all stood in their own cause. The breach of maxim of law. So that's what we start hitting the courts and the judges with. You are stood in your own cause. I want your bond and I want your oath. You don't surrender them for me to make a claim. You're not a judge.
Yeah.
Fraud by judicial and administrative office, perpetrating fraud through the use of legal fictions, omissions and concealments, whereby invalidating all written instructions and proceedings under Archibald 2025, page 253, 1103, 1158, and Black's Law Dictionary principles. Now, Black's Law is basically a reference book. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Illegal conversion, knowingly, willingly administrating a living sovereign man as a corporate person or quasim vessel without lawful consent or voluntary contract in violation of Archibald 2025, page 87 to 15. 439, common law and natural law.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is what you've got to understand. We have been all illegally converted by parliamentary acts since 1707 into vessels. Your Union Jack is a joke. If you're flying that corporate flag, good luck to you.
I know it's a bit of a disaster, isn't it? And I suppose, like, you know, I've made some good kind of contacts recently. We've got to try and get that message out. Stop flying that flag. But again, it's just that people have a good intention, but they're armed with incorrect information. It's like, please.
Oh God! And the George's flag, St. George's flag. Well done.
No.
You're now perpetrating the death of England, because what is the George Cross? What is he doing, St. George? He's killing the white dragon. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. What is the white dragon? England.
The Pendragon. Yeah.
It's the Pendragon. It's the red flag with the white dragon of England that granted every man sovereignty by God's great creation. We are divine.
Yeah.
Right? End of. This is not the state of England or the UK or Great Britain. This is England. The state of nation of the dragon, not a state. It is a nation of the dragon. I stand under the dragon flag of England. I am of the plentiful nation, the lands of England, controlled by the dragon. Yeah. And the dragon now has awoken. The sovereignty has never been left. It standeth within me, as granted by God. Divine, I am my own church. God's soul granted me the cornerstone of all of my own temple vessel of my own church. It's in there. Yeah. Scriptures, Holy Gospel. Don't be using the Bible.
I mean, it's a bit crazy, isn't it, really? It's like that idea of, like you say, we're sold it, aren't we? You know, indoctrinated at school, like, you know, St. George slaying the dragon. And again, it's another one of the rituals when we're flying that thing. Same with the Welsh flag, you know, and I've talked about that on podcasts before, you know, the red dragon, you know, it's not what you think it is. And unfortunately, if we're joining in our ignorance, they take that again as the necessary consent. You know, it's like, well, you didn't know the language. Well, so shit,
That's your problem. You're ignorant. So therefore, you need state assistance. So we will give you a state because you are a moron, a pleb, because you don't know what we've done to you, but you should know. What? Hell's bells, do me a favour. You're bringing in acts and statutes that aren't relevant, that have nothing to do with it. So incorporating me and you by the Companies Act by illegal conversion. What's that got to do with me and you? Until you know the importance of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maxim of court integrity, page 1042. A court of record ceases to be lawful when it acts administrative under corporate contract rather than de jure law. Officers acting therein bear personal liability. So every judge now has to bear personal liability for his wrongdoing. If he's passed a sentence against you as a quasim, he now has to pay for it.
Yeah.
All of it. If you've been sent to court, if you've had a fine, it is the judge and the court that now has to pay the brunt of it. Judicial incorporation doctrine, pp. 87-88. Judges acting under administrative incorporating authority must ensure separation from corporate influence. For the administration of justice under corporate control constitutes usurpation of the crown de jure authority. Oh dear, Mr. Judge, you're now guilty of treason.
Yeah.
Violation of fundamental fraudulent instruments. The court must never be seen to violate the instruments whose original lies in deceit or conversion. As such, would make the judiciary, part 2, a fraud against the crown and the governed. All repossession orders void.
Yeah.
Right? Unlawful conversion, page 1157. The unlawful conversion of the natural human into a corporate or maritime entity without voluntary consent is an act of legal treason, placing the sovereignty of the people in abeyance. Oh, Mr. Judge, we've got you in treason again.
Yeah, it's like an endless thread to pull with these feckers, isn't it? Basically, you know.
Deception by public officers, page 1132, 1135. An officer of the court who by fraud, omission or concealment deprives a person of his natural or property rights commits breach of alliance and an act capable of amounting to treason where the sovereign rights of the governed are overthrown.
Yeah.
Oh dear, Mr. Judge.
Because no funnier story than you going into a court once and telling a judge to sit down and call him a cunt. Pardon my French people. But yeah,
well, he is, and they are. They're not judges.
Exactly.
They're fake actors, and nothing more. Nothing more.
Trying to get you in contempt of court. It's like, what court?
Exactly.
What the fuck are you
I'll
on about?
find with contempt of court. Well, sorry, Judge, but you're already charged. Here you go. By walking into this corporate case, you have now committed contempt of court, perjury under the Juries Act, fraud under the Fraud Act, your acts, by the way, not mine, and I'm now charging you with treason as to Archibald and the Treason Act. Fraud and treason, CH 22 to 25, page 403 to 1158. Where fraud is used to undermine public confidence in the Crown or the lawful administration of justice, such acts may be constituted treason when committed under colour of lawful authority. Basically meaning that when we go into these courts, they have no lawful authority.
Yeah.
That is an act of treason.
This is what we need to get out. It says, can you imagine if people just even understood the basics of what those flags mean, what they really mean? You know, I mean, you know, it's just getting something like as simple as that, you know, the whole kind of nation thinks that they're flying the flag of the land and they're not. You know, and again, like, you know, the red flag, you know, the dragon, I didn't kind of finish that. And I always find that annoying. People going, what does she mean by that? Someone will ask me, someone put it in the comments, what's the red dragon on the Welsh flag? You know, it represents those draconian powers, you know, King Charles, the Prince of Wales, or we know he's not a king, he's a liege lord bollocks. But the thing is, it represents that bloodline, that draconian bloodline, for you shall draw your power from the seat of the dragon. You know, it's about that kind of, and they rub it in our faces and we don't know what these things mean. You know, when symbols are these kind of eternal, and once we decode them, you know, it kind of unravels this nonsense that they've imprinted in our minds. It's endless.
Well, this is the whole point. This is why it's called indoctrinating for a reason. You know what I mean? It's literally, it is fraud. We now, as a people, every time we've got one person in court, we turn up 20 strong. We've now decided to call a court de jour. You will now stand trial judge. You will now stand trial clerk, because you're a clerk, you're an administrative officer under parliamentary delegated authority, which is none. You've got no authority within this case. I am the natural man. Here is my imprint. What you do is you put a drop of blood from your life finger, you seal your document in front of them if needs be. You then put 3 taped, clear tape, 1 down, 2 across, right? So then they can't accuse you of sending something that may contain biological harm. Utter nonsense, right? This is where they will get you. By the illegal use of the Terrorism Act. While acting in terrorism, every police officer is charged under Article 1 of 2010, I forgot what it is in 2006 and 2015, it's enforcement of a political agenda.
Yeah.
Right? This is not law.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And this is what you say, natural law is eternal law. Means it never runs out. So just natural, and it's spelled EST space ELX space AETERNA. Right? You add that to every letter you send. I am under natural common law and God's law. Just natural.
Yeah.
Right?
And
then you've got lex injusti, non-estate lex. All unjust laws are not law. No act of parliament is law. And I don't care what it says. It is not law. You have no sovereignty, you liar. He who claims must prove. Prove you have sovereignty under the maxim of law.
It's one of the biggest maxims going, which a lot of the truther movement seem to have forgot. As a maxim in law, he who makes the claim has to
prove.
Well, people like hearsay presumptions and talking shite. That's generally how it is going out there.
And this is why they want to get rid of the House of Commons, because the House of Commons can dissolve Parliament with 1 letter from 1 sovereign man who knows what he's talking about. Now, if the nation wants me to dissolve Parliament, I'm quite happy. We will send a letter upon behalf of the nation to demand the House of Commons now charges every parliamentarian with illegal conversion and treason, high treason, and perversion of the law, levelling war against the imperial crown.
Yeah.
Parliament dissolved.
And we wanted to do this video, didn't we, before this occurs? Well, not this, all this occurs. This has already occurred and is occurring. But with the case this week, so that we can give people an update on the other side. I mean, currently, as you heard Robin say, we can't find the case, or Robin can't find the case. So whether it occurs this week or not, but it will occur. This is just the first of many. And like I say, one judge, 7 judge, all of them. It's time for them and the policy, the police force, fear and force officers to step the fuck down, and else they will all be held liable.
Accountable. They've got to be now. And it's about, this is why I keep saying, there's a guy, he got 1 to 3 million people to London, to walk around London and do whatever. And apparently for this now, he's getting charged with a terrorist offence by including people to commit an act of terror. What a load of nonsense. One man cannot be responsible for another man's actions. Maximum of law. Sod off. Oh, by the way, you've summoned the all caps fiction, you cretinous, so now I'm charging you with treason. So there you go, Mr. Robinson. If you really want to get out of your situation, contact us. And I will give you documentation that they will shit themselves from. The police are now ordered to step down.
Hallelujah.
It will come. The fact is now that there is 3 million men that turned up to walk around London, and I now will state again for fact, give me 10 to 20% of that number. The dragon is awoken. It is now for the people to stand and waken up. If you don't want to pay your mortgage, don't pay it. You don't want to pay council tax, don't pay it. Your mortgage is fraud. It was illegally converted by the solicitor. It now has to be paid by the solicitor.
That would be fun to bring them all down, wouldn't it?
It literally is this simple. I know I'm talking whatever, and people go, oh, he's talking lunacy. No, it's not. 300 to 600,000 men would have this nation back. The debts of the state would remain with the state. Yeah.
Reverse the positions. And this is what I'm saying about the protests, and we've said it before, but I spoke with Fiona at the event that we just recently did, and it's just about arming. I get that it's a display, but we've got to arm people with the correct information, and I just let's get that out there, like you just said then, Robin. I don't know who Tommy Robinson is. Obviously I know who he is, but I don't know who he is as a player or whatnot. Who knows? I have my thoughts, but I'm not going to wear them here. But the thing is, if we could just get, like you say, a fraction of that number armed with the correct information of who they are. At this point, I start to wonder, in an age of information, ignorance is a choice at this point, I think. I think some people are so embedded in that matrix that they ain't getting out of it, but we can speak, but it only takes a consciousness tip of a certain percentage. And as Toshi always says, never underestimate, a group of determined people who can change the course of history. It's always been a group of determined people who've done it, with then perhaps the awareness and the numbers of the many. You don't have to be sat at home, as I always say, Robin, reading through your trust law box and this and that. Just get the basic and come follow us.
Just get the basic, and it's just make sure that your neighbours are safe, that we are safe. And, we all have got opinions of police. There's good and bad in everything. We've just seen that. There's loads of TikToks going around. Oh, I like to break the fingers. I like to snap this. It's all of a TikTok what the police are doing to us, right? Because they feel superior and untouchable. But yet 600,000 men that says no more is a bit of a different game and animal. The police will come, and I'm hoping, and this is why I do these things, for the police to realise their criminal ways of their superiors that are sat behind the desk that put them on the front line as targets. Now, let's not forget this. Now, I know the police know there's something massively wrong, right? They just don't know, like us, to what extent it's wrong, right? No act or statute is above natural common law nor God's law. All acts and statutes are for corporate vessels, corporations. The police force throughout the land is under a license. It's not there. Now, I'm hoping the police will literally say, do you know, we're not having this anymore. We're done. We are done. And start literally putting feeders out to the people and saying, no, we're not doing this anymore. We are now, will be standing with the people. We need your assistance, and you need our assistance to come together and arrest the main players in all of this and return the funds stolen, return the nonsense, and go back to the imperial crown authority. Because without that authority, there is no authority, none. And this is what Parliament is trying to do. It's trying to bring in what they fetched in 1972, 1973, with joining the EEC. They turned us all into corporations. Right? That is what the big urgency was to do 1973. Right? That's the game plan. And when we all voted to come out, they literally lost their minds. They lost their minds because they couldn't figure out how the hell they were going to get back that authority. They lied to us in 74. Our sovereignty was never surrendered, but theirs was, which they can't do.
Mhm.
This is why they became a corporation and have been a corporation since 1707. It's in the, for God's sake, if you Google it, it will tell you, or AI it, it will tell you, put in the 1707 United Kingdom franchise within Parliamentary Library. Because it's registered there. 2018, they've moved it to the Land Registry. So now we're going to do documents to the Land Registry to remove our properties from the registrar's office in fraud. They're only meant to be recorded, not registered to give away. They're not under state ownership. They're yours. But because they've registered them to a registered corporation, i.e. your legal fiction, which they've done in secret, you are now the PSC of a company that you don't know about, of the same name. All your assets that you're working for belong to the state, so they can just come in and take them when they want.
Mm-hmm. Which is what we see. Mm-hmm.
And the police are aiding and abetting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they are part of the state, under license to the state. They're not police constables, it's lie, it's forgery. It is impersonation, which is 14 years imprisonment.
Yeah.
And by committing treason, it's life or death. Yeah. And this is what the police have failed and keep laughing. Well, keep laughing, guys, because the ones that laugh hardest will be the ones that do the drop. The ones that have shot people will do the drop. There is no forgiveness for this. None. Mm-hmm. The police that have upheld and knocked on the doors and said, look, mate, I know I shouldn't be here, but I've been ordered to come, so I'm just doing my job. I don't want to be here. You don't want me here. Blah, blah, blah. We've seen those guys turn up to people's house and go, I aren't involved with this. But please, and then we're showing them up. Don't show them up, please. Respect them and go, no worries, our kid. You've been and done your job. I appreciate that. Tatty bye. Right? When they come for you for putting on a post on the, what is it? Natural in law. I am not the PSC, so fuck off. I'm not the incorporated fiction. Fuck off. Oh, and by the way, the maxim in law that says no man has the right not to be offended. Fuck off. It is a maxim of law. Mm-hmm. Not your corporate bullshit. Go the fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I think we'll leave it on that note. Fuck off. Because
well, I just hope that gives rise to people now to realise that there is solutions. And we are working incredibly hard at the Realm of England to give as many people the route out to aid you in your knowledge and search. The fact is, there's a lot of cabals out there that have all got these mini ideas that are trying to drain you of money and do this and we'll pay you for that, and then want you to literally as cannon fodder to throw as much shit at the to see what sticks. Mm-hmm. Right? This not only sticks, it destroys the judge because none of their paperwork is signed. So you've got them on their Electronics Act because it must be signed. Read it. Don't just take their word for it. It must have an Imperial Crown stamp. The black forge stamp is a bought and paid for stamp. It will be on the realm which office you can buy it at. I'm going to expose them. Expose the High Court. These courts now must have an Admiralty Commission, a warrant from the Admiralty, or a High Court notice and order. And if they haven't got it and can't produce it, it's a fraudulent court. And you've got them for treason again. running a court without lawful jurisdiction. So to claim that they're under administrative admiralty doctrine jurisdiction has no lawful authority. It's a colour of law court. But rather than claiming it in nonsense, we have to claim it like we know what we're talking about. So I'm going to Grimsby Court tomorrow, and I'm going to see what's happened to this case. Because I spent 4.5, 5 hours on Friday, 4 people, 6 different courts, including criminal courts, county court, to see if they tried to move it. Nobody can find it. Nobody.
Interesting. It's going to be interesting, and we will be back to give people an update on that. So
I put a stopple on it, and I've put a stop on it. And again, if you don't know what they are, look it up, because they are the greatest tool. It's a massive shield.
Yeah.
And what you can do is put a permanent estoppel, and stops are invoked in the tribunal. This is without any authority or jurisdiction in this matter. All further actions by this court, judge and solicitor will be taken as an act of fraud, perjury and misconduct. Such criminal and civil liabilities. Oh dear, Mr. Judge, we've got you now by the short and curlies. Right? But what we need is more people to use it correctly, and don't take the piss unless you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And that is a key point as well. Don't be doing all this and stopping paying things if you're clueless. Like, I would not advise that to anybody. And we don't give advice. So we just...
No. This is for solely intentional purposes only. And hopefully you learn a little bit of common sense through it.
Well, we can but live in hope. Robin, thank you so much again for coming and joining us and giving us that update. I mean, that was just amazing information. And please do share this podcast. It's not for my ego. It's because I do it for love. I want this information out there. I want people to understand. And even if you could just tell people about the flag, just something like that, something simple, that's a real consciousness tip. So, Robin, is there anything you want to finish on? Anything else you'd like to do?
Join, please. Look, it's £10, £10 a month. We're not trying to rob anybody. If you can't afford it and that you're on your proper ass, please contact one of the administrators. We will try and assist you and get you access for a month or 2 months for free. Right?
Yeah.
We will try and help as many people as we can, because at the end of the day, guys, we're all in this together. This is us. Again, this is us. This is all of us. Right? It's not just 1 or 2. This is not a mini cabal. This is a right to information. And hopefully it's the correct information. That's all we can hope. That's all we can pray for. But we are doing our best to educate you. And it's the flesh and blood of the man, of the land, of the dragon of England. You are not a lion. You are a dragon by birth of blood. And the one thing that you've got to understand is this. Don't put red ink on your documents like people tell you to do, right? Because that's nonsense. Anybody can put a red ink smudge on. What they cannot put on is the 46 monochrome Gothic bloodline of England. Put 3 tapes across it, 1 lateral, 2 lengthways, right? Simple as that, guys. Yeah. Right? It's covered. It cannot be described as anything else than the seal of the man, the gene of God, whether you believe in it or not.
Yeah. And I've always said that, Robin. The thing is, even if you don't believe all the occult nature of the legal system, and trust me, I've decoded it enough, it is real. But even if you don't and you're not having it, they believe it. Even if you don't believe it, they do. All this nonsense, all this daft immigration, all this digital ID, whatever it is, this crap that they come up with, it ends with the realm of England. It ends with you. It ends with all of us. So please do join the realm of England. Robin, thanks again so much. And we'll be back to...
Can I just end on this? I know I'm just going to do a little bit of a PS, which is unusual for me, but I just want, because I think this is so important, is... They keep saying they cannot lift the corporate veil. Well, here you go. This is the tip of a lifetime. to lift the corporate veil. Okay? The lifting of corporate veil and de jure power. By de jure power of the governed people of England, the corporate veil that hides fraud and deceit is lawfully lifted, exposing the administration of such corporate constructs to be liable. Right? When artificial, and this is again, maxim of law, Archibald page 1155 to 1158, and I'll give you the correct maxim later. When artificial separation between state fictions and living individuals is proven fraudulent, the veil must be pierced. The court must recognise the de jure man and treat the instrument as void. An act of conversion includes administrative court operating under this fiction constitutes betrayal of the realm's sovereignty and are thus acts of treason, high treason, under the Treason Act 1351. Those contained under this fraud levelling war against the de jure crown and the lawful sovereign people. Right? That is how we get the man behind the damage.
Wow. Yeah. That was a great PS. I'm not going to lie. Wow.
Thank
awesome. Robin, awesome. Thanks so much. And thanks everybody for watching, and we will catch you next time.
Take care, guys. Bye.